How's it going, guys? Welcome to Big Dreams, Little Apartment. My name's Austin, and this is our first episode. Today, we're going over gimbals, more specifically, the Zhiyun Crane Plus. I've had this gimbal for about 2 months. There's some good things, and there's some bad things about it, and I'm going to share those with you today. So without further ado, let's get to it. So first things first, this is the first gimbal I've ever purchased, and there's a few reasons why I picked this gimbal over some of the other ones that are on the market. It kind of comes down to two major things: price and the cameras that it can hold. I wanted to kind of save my money a little bit, but I also wanted to support a pretty heavy camera. I have a Nikon D800, but then I also have a Canon M50, so I have like a really light mirrorless camera, and then I also have a really heavy DSLR, and I wanted a gimbal that could handle both of them, and that's ultimately why I picked the Zhiyun Crane Plus. Now, the negative. We'll just get started with that. It doesn't connect to any of the cameras that I have. Now, if you have a Sony camera, and if certain Nikon cameras or Canon cameras will connect to it. Cameras that I have and a lot of the cameras that are on the market that people are using don't necessarily link up to the gimbal, so that you can use the zoom and other features that it has, which some of the other gimbals that are right around the same price range do have that feature. And that being said, the Nikon D800 is a really heavy camera and the Canon is a really light camera. And that's actually why I picked the Crane Plus, is because it's designed to work with both heavy and light cameras. It can hold, I think it's 7 kilograms, which encompasses the Nikon D800. Now, one of the other things that I really like about the Zhiyun Crane Plus is that it's easy to level and transition between the two cameras, even though they are, kind of on the opposite ends of scale weight-wise. I really enjoy also some of the app features that come with the Crane. So if you connect your smartphone, like your iPhone or your Android, to the Crane, you can actually control a few things that are pretty unique, like Follow Me. I was actually able to hook the gimbal up to my cell phone, and then I was riding a four-wheeler and I had the gimbal follow me while I was on the four-wheeler, so I was able to get some pretty awesome panning shots with only using one person, just myself and the gimbal, which is something that's really unique, that kind of allows you to step outside and do things without having multiple people, which is definitely a nice feature to have. One of the other really nice features is the kind of time lapse. You can set it up with waypoints to move over a certain period of time. I was in the mountains in the Sangre de Cristos here in Colorado, and I did a time lapse with the D800 where I had it pan during the sunset over an hour-long period and take a time lapse during that time. So I kind of had the time lapse motion and then also the panning motion of the gimbal. So using those two together, I was able to get some really interesting shots that would almost have been impossible even using a tripod. So that's awesome. It's really helped me kind of improve my shots, come up with more cinematic shots, and create new looks with my film. So that being said, I definitely would recommend a gimbal similar to the Crane Plus, if not the Crane Plus. I think it's a really great starting gimbal. It meets my needs, especially with the weight factor. If you only had a mirrorless camera, this may not be the gimbal for you. They make a smaller version, the Crane 2, and then also even a smaller version than that, which is kind of geared more towards their exclusively mirrorless cameras. So if that's all you had, I would recommend looking at some of those smaller gimbals, because you don't really necessarily need the beefy gimbal to hold the higher weight capacity. I have kind of noticed that with the M50, you can kind of tell that it is a little lighter, on the lighter end for the gimbal, and the D800 is a little on the heavier end for the gimbal, but still it's had no problem controlling either of them and leveling either of them. and it's really just been a joy to use. Even for vlogging out in the field, it's kind of really improved my steady cam and my ability to hold the camera, especially the M50. One thing that I've kind of found with the mirrorless cameras is that they're so light that it makes it really hard to hold them steady just handheld filming. So having the gimbal just kind of alleviates that worry and makes it really easy to just know that I'm getting good footage no matter what lens I have, or what the ground is like, or as long as I'm walking, doing the ninja walk, kind of just being mindful, I can get some really good footage, probably footage that would be impossible to get handheld. So yeah, really great gimbal. I think you guys should get a gimbal if you guys are interested in filmmaking. It's really not that much, right around $400, $369. It's an investment. It's something that will improve your filmmaking. It's a tool. You're gonna have to learn how to use it. If you haven't yet mastered your camera or your lighting, or the other things that are essential to video or photography, I would maybe say hold off on the gimbal until you kind of have those things down, and then once you do that, then it's okay to start investing in things like gimbals that will kind of allow you to go out in the field and kind of get more creative with what you're doing. And that's exactly what it's helped me do. So I'll shut up now, show you guys some footage of what this gimbal can do, and some footage of me using it. So thank you guys. I really appreciate you tuning in for my first channel. I look forward to many more with you, and thank you very much. Peace.